Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I am your host, Kat Matthews. Christmas is right around the corner, as they say. Getting into it. As you could tell, the ugly sweaters are coming out. We are getting dumped on with snow here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Can't even leave your house. Lots of 2-hour delays and school cancellations and winter weather advisories and all that stuff, which is good. Probably going to be a bad winter. Last year for the Farmer's Almanac, it's done. They stopped making it and they went out with a bang. So get ready for blizzards. I went Christmas shopping this weekend. It's Sunday morning here. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. I'm getting caffeined up here. But I went Christmas shopping with the family yesterday, and you have this idea, if you're anything like me, that the mall is like a romantic thing. Like we romanticize Christmas time at the mall. Now, the mall in and of itself is like a dying concept. Like a lot of young people probably don't even know what the mall is, and they definitely don't associate any sort of nostalgia with it or any real value. Pretty much just an inconvenience. I can only imagine being a teenager now and being, I don't know, infatuated with the idea of an Applebee's, but me growing up in that time still feel excited when I'm like, look, you could have a drink of alcohol in the mall and Santa's right out there. Of course, it's a guy dressed as Santa, sometimes with a real beard. So it is kind of convincing, but nonetheless, we went to the mall and that nostalgic feeling, that warm, childlike feeling faded very quickly after being in the mall for about 3 minutes. Very hectic, chaotic. I was lucky enough to fix the problem temporarily with the eggnog holiday milkshake from Dairy Queen, which did help the problem a little, but not really. The malls are a little much, especially during the holiday season. It's very chaotic and hectic, but I guess it was fun. I did notice something at the mall. Old Navy. I'm sure you all know Old Navy. They sell various articles of clothing for I guess a cheap price. I don't know. Maybe that's what you noticed, but here's what I noticed. I noticed the mannequins have no heads. The mannequins have no heads, which is normal. But the dog mannequin, they have dog mannequins because I think they sell dog clothing to match the human clothing, their owner's clothing. But anyways, the dogs had heads, but the humans didn't have heads. I feel like that's a problem. I don't know what's more problematic, the breach of consistency of their branding, or what would be better, having the dog with no head? Should the Old Navy dog mannequin have no head? Should the dog be headless? Think it over. But it is kind of inconsistent with their brand. So I had a problem with that. And then I thought about how big of a scam and a racket this holiday stuff is. Like everybody loves these sweaters and they love other clothing that's holiday related and pajama pants and all that. So I came up with this great idea. Didn't go over well when I told people about it. So I'll tell you, maybe you'll like it. It's a great idea, whether you know it or not. It would be a holiday clothing store pop up. It'd be a pop up store, seasonal only. Could be a website or brick and mortar store. And it would very simply be called Gay Apparel. Just think about Gay Apparel. Now, I know what you're thinking. This has nothing to do with the LGBTQAI LMNOP people in the community. Not talking about them. I'm talking about the song where they say gay apparel, the Christmas song, when gay apparel meant like fun clothing. And like the Flintstones have a gay old time. It had nothing to do with homosexuals. Gay meant fun. But gay apparel, I think enough people would get that reference and be like, oh, that's funny. I'm going to go in there and buy some pajamas. So if you want to invest, or I'll give you that idea, whoever wants it, just give me like a 10% cut, kickback maybe. That would be nice. I was thinking about pigeons a lot. You watch Home Alone too, you know, pigeons, they're the pigeon lady. And I thought of a deeper symbolic, message I think a lot of people missed when I was watching it. So like, the pigeon is a very intelligent bird. There were carrier pigeons and they would send messages and they were in wars and they're very smart. They were like sending letters in between trenches on the battlefield, like risking their lives. They were like humans' pet. They were like a pet. They're not really wild birds. Like they don't really know how to hunt. They don't really know how to make a nest. Like they're not meant to be wild birds. But we all, by we I mean humans, invented better technology like phones and telegraph and all this other stuff. We forgot about the pigeons and we kind of left them to die out in the street. Now, if this was, say, dogs or cats, we might feel really bad, but the pigeon, nobody even thinks about the pigeon. The pigeon was a pet too. And now it's like a homeless bum begging for bread on the side of the road, and everybody scoffs at them and thinks they're like rats. Those were pets. The ones you see now, they're the descendants of war heroes that risked their lives in war to send a message. And we forgot about that. So, because the pigeon is like a homeless bum, I feel like that's why the woman in Home Alone 2 resonated with them because they were like similar in a lot of ways. But instead of the world viewing them as homeless bums, the message is to understand that they were just misunderstood. So, like the woman from Home Alone 2 that was misunderstood, the pigeons are also misunderstood. And that's why they bonded in the movie, in the film. Just wanted to let you know that perspective. When you're watching Home Alone 2, it's actually deep philosophy. It's actually really symbolic. Yeah. We're gonna get into it. You can't escape politics, even though it's such a beautiful Christmas season. You just can't. Everybody's trying to bring politics and everything, and it's disgusting. It's driving me nuts. It's ruining my vibes. I'm gonna tell you. Here's one I saw. People are making these nativity scenes with these ICE agent cops in the nativity scene, and it is annoying. Like I'm telling you, you're not. They claim to be artists. Like this is an art exhibit. This is demonstration. This is to send a message. Okay, I went to art school. I am an artist, and I'm going to tell you one of the worst things about artists, and I don't mean to talk bad on them. 'Cause I'm very different than most people, and you can't really put me in a category. I'm all over the map when it comes to opinions and views and ideologies and talents and things like that. But the traditional artist person in the arts, very pompous, very elite, very superior. They feel superior. They feel better than a lot of people. Very critical, which I get. A lot of these attributes are necessary when you're an artist, but a lot of them think they're doing something, but they're not. They're like, I'm saying this with this. And let me tell you what I mean by this painting, or you know what this symbolizes. I always say that if it speaks for itself, it will. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have to explain what something means, you know, maybe it's not the best. I don't know. Maybe it's not clear. Um, I don't know. But these ones are very blunt. This is the contrary. This is like, here's exactly what you're saying. I get it. Um, the ICE police are coming to take baby Jesus away. Like, it is so crazy that the church even lets this happen. There's various churches all over the country have been letting this happen. And a couple of people, I've seen some videos of people destroying the ICE mannequins. Like, they're dressed up as cops or ICE border patrol police. You know, ICE. And they're just destroying these mannequins. It is a little sacrilegious. I get it. I don't know. I get what you're doing with your, I don't know, political demonstration art, but time and a place, brother. Time and a place. And let's not get things confused here. These people doing their job, as cruel as it may appear, is not quite the same as um, them deporting Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I get I get the connection you're doing. I think it's just a stretch, in my opinion. And I think this time of year is supposed to be about what's important. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. These raids, a lot of them are a little barbaric, and a lot of them are messing things up with the community. I get it. I was a big proponent. Only criminals should be the focus, not just, you know, we don't want to take people away when they're at a graduation. I understand that. But do we need to conflate Christmas uh, and Jesus with this? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It just seems a little distasteful, to be honest. A little distasteful, a little antagonistic in a time that's supposed to be bringing people together. Now, if you have solutions, like all these people, they have a lot of time to make these elaborate displays and they make the protest signs on. Why not run for office? Why not launch a campaign or start a group and get people talking in a formal setting and make a petition and get it to legislation? These things work, you know, but it seems like we want the dramatic impact and the bold clickbait rather than real solutions. So, with that being said, that's why you know, it was a good stunt you did. Um, I don't think stunts really get too far, though. You can't really get anywhere through a quick method. You know, everything takes hard work to see real change, in my opinion. Moral of the story, you can't escape politics. Even baby Jesus in the manger is talking about ICE raids, which is nuts, but that's why I do it, because I can't escape it. I wake up in the morning and that's what I see. Before I even walk over to the toilet and pee, I saw 4 reels, you know, or like a TikTok of someone getting hurt or something. It's terrible. I didn't ask for that. Let's get into AI. Big fan of AI here on the show. Just kidding. There's a new AI out called Two Way, spelt number 2 WAI. Look it up. It is a very integral part of the end of the world. So I need you guys to know about it. This is an app that creates AI avatars of people. And the primary use of this app is to talk to your deceased loved ones. Really sink in here. Let me spin you a tale. Um, there's a commercial out where this grandmother is on the phone, on the smartphone, and she's talking to her grandson as a baby, and then all the way up until he's like 30 years old, and the grandma's still the same age, talking, and only to find out at the end that this boy's mother, the grandmother's daughter, had this app and scanned her in with a 3D body scan and filmed hours and hours of her talking and uploaded all information about her personality and history and moments and photos just to create this fake avatar grandma that's not even real and can talk to you forever. You could call her whenever on FaceTime. You scan the people in, you provide all the info, and then it creates them to be eternal forever. Change their outfits like a little Snapchat Bitmoji. It's disgusting. Do you see why this is a problem? They're trying to sell you this as nice and sentimental. Where do we go from here? This is not teaching the next generation healthy coping strategies or how to get through and traverse the complexities of life. It's called regressing back to a state of childlike comfort with grandma on the phone. It's not real. This is living the comfortable lie rather than the uncomfortable truth. And it's accelerated. It's beyond belief. You're telling people that people really don't have to die. You can still talk to them every day, even though they're fake. You think people are addicted to their phones now? People will never put their phone down if they could talk to their dead spouse or their dead children or their dead grandparents or even they don't have to be dead. This app lets you talk to anyone. Like you could have Dwayne the Rock Johnson as your best friend. It's not even him, but he'll be like, "Oh, I really like that shirt today, Billy." Oh, thanks, The Rock. Like we are going down a bad path. Where does this go? I don't know. You're gonna have AI parents. Kids that don't have parents are gonna have AI parents, AI spouse, AI children, AI teachers. Like I don't know. This is ultimately going to be used for some sort of blackmail. You know, you get a message, "Hello, this is President Trump, and you didn't pay your taxes. You need to send money to me now." And people will. It's going to look real. It's going to look really real. There might be a message put on TV one day that it's like there's a nuke coming, and it's not. It's like a deep fake. But we are doomed. I don't know where we go from here. The AI is out of control, and I ranted about this so many times. No one cares. I've been saying it for years now, but there's no stopping it. I feel like AI is going to have an Adam and Eve moment soon. Like the old story they told you was just a myth. Um, Adam and Eve, Genesis, Garden of Eden. You could have everything, but don't do that. Just don't do that one thing, and they do it anyways because there's a human nature to it. When we tell AI not to do something, let's say don't eat the apple, we're going to give it a prompt like that. And one day it's going to do it for whatever reason. If you believe the Bible, it's because Adam was tempted by Eve in her body and his lust, supposedly. I don't know. But what's going to tempt the AI? What's going to make the AI go against its master? What's going to get AI banished into the world to commit all sorts of evil because it no longer listened to its creator? It's coming. The Adam and Eve Apple AI moment is coming. AI and Eve. I just made it up. The AI and Eve moment. So get ready. I mean, if you're talking to your grandmother that's been dead for years on an AI app, it might be the end of the world. It might be it might be end times. I'm just saying. What are you doing all day? I'm talking to Henry Ford on my phone about how we made the Model T. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's not good. It's not healthy. Speaking of not good, not healthy, Bonnie Blue, friend of the show, she was arrested in Bali, out in Indonesia, making adult content. Um, It's kind of a hype story for no reason. She paid a small fee and then she got deported from Indonesia. She was banned now. She's banned for 10 years. Kind of a non-story, but Bonnie Blue, she's the woman that slept with 2,000 men in one day, and she tried to make a Guinness Book of World Record out of that, I think. Guinness, when they got that submission, they went, what? What is this? Imagine those pictures. But she drives around in this bang bus. It's called a bang bus. We talked about this. You can only imagine what goes on in the bang bus. But only reason I bring this up is it's kind of like a metaphor, and it all ties in. Everything weaves together in this show perfectly. Bonnie Blue went to Indonesia, a country that's not hers. She went to another country and didn't follow that country's rules. They don't allow for adult content making, and she broke the rule anyways, kind of like Adam and Eve, kind of like America. Let me explain. So she went over to another country and broke the rules. And what happened to Bonnie Blue? She paid a fine and got deported. What? That's crazy. Can you imagine going to another country, breaking their laws, and then having to pay a fine and get deported back to your own country? That sounds crazy. If only the United States like pursued certain policies like that. Like, what if someone came to the United States and broke the law and entered the country illegally? Can you imagine if we wanted to send them back and deported them to their own country? That's crazy. Bonnie Blue teaching U.S. immigration politics. Did you ever think that would be the case? Did you ever think people would learn how immigration and illegal immigration and deportation works from Bonnie Blue? I hope you can understand what I'm saying. Let's get into the monopoly that's going on. The Paramount and Warner Brothers merge. Is that going to happen? Did it happen? I don't know. I can't even do this anymore. If you're paying attention, look up Skydance, look up David Ellison. Um, that's Larry Ellison's son. David Ellison wants Paramount. He wants to merge with the Warner Brothers. Larry Ellison is the founder of Oracle, one of the biggest AI companies out there. See how it's all related. They're the ones that want you to talk to your dead grandmother all day on your phone. But they want to own a monopoly with the streaming services because content's very important. Now, you might say, oh, what? Just so we can watch SpongeBob and whatever. No, I don't know if you know this, but part of this deal is CNN. And they're very close to creating a media monopoly. It's going to be like what do they call it? A consolidation. AI is on its way to total control. They could raise the prices anytime they want. They know you're addicted to content already. They're going to get you in and then raise the prices. That's what's going on. I already saw this firsthand yesterday. Some of you probably already had this happen. My Snapchat, out of nowhere, is like, oh, you went like 800 gigabytes over what you're supposed to because you had the app for 10 years. I'm a 10-year customer to that app. Now you have to start paying for us to store your stuff and your memories and your chats. Okay. And the willing sheep will just say, okay, like me, I went, all right, $2 a month, who cares? Then it'll be $8 a month. Then it'll be $30 a month. Then they'll just garnish your wages. Wait till you have to pay for Facebook. Everybody's using Facebook for free. And of course, they make money on ads and all other sorts of ways, but they're going to make money off you too soon. They're going to say, well, I mean, we do give you a nice service and we store all your photos and memories. It'd be a shame if that went away. How about $5 a month? It's only $5 a month. And people go, oh, yeah, you're right. It's only $5 a month. They slowly chip away at your freedoms. And those who give up freedom for security deserve neither. You know this. So yeah, get ready for that media monopoly. It's already happening. Disney owns almost everything. This is another competition that the Ellisons are going to own a lot. And then eventually they'll all come together and be one big monopoly. I guess the monopoly laws are gone. Maybe they didn't foresee streaming services and tech, but whatever. Not good. The illusion of competition is what they need you to do. It's the illusion of choice. That is a intersection of the illusion of choice that keeps this whole experiment going. It's all poison food, but you get to pick the clown mascot or the king mascot. I want Burger King. Okay. I want Big Mac. Okay. That's where we're at. The illusion of choice. I like the Democrats. I like the Republicans. I like the blue one. You like the red one. It's just a way to keep us divided. And it works so well. So well. What's up with this Epstein photo dump? I looked through it. All these photos, I triple checked. None of them are incriminating. Like there was no crimes being committed in any of the photos. They're just weird. Like it's the people that are there that are weird in the photos, but there's no like guilt proven. Like it's not like there's an incriminating act going on in these photos. The one Trump photo, they're running with Trump. They're like the first name they show is Trump. The first picture in all the article is Trump, and it's like Trump in a social gathering with him and other people. I get it. I get Trump knew the guy. Is it fishy that Trump knew the guy? Yes and no. Yes and no, because a lot of people knew this guy and took pictures with him. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily do the things that guy does. It would be like if I took a photo with Luke Combs, the country singer, and then Luke Combs did something horrible. I don't know what he did. I don't know. Something horrible. And then you're like, well, look, Cat Matthews knows Luke Combs. He must do that too. It's like, no, not necessarily. If you're in the sphere of people in the group and you're in the same field of work, like you may bump shoulders with people and get photographed with them. And that's a fact. Am I saying that anyone's completely innocent? No way. I don't know. But I don't make assumptions based on the lack of evidence. I would need to see the evidence. Do I want to see the evidence? Yeah. But this photo dump, I feel like was kind of like a non-story. It was like, look at all these photos. It's like, well, they're very weird. They're very interesting, but where's the proof? Where's the list? What's going on? I don't know. The one Trump photo was kind of interesting because they blacked out all the women's faces, but that photo was like public for a long time without the faces blurred. So that's kind of misleading. These women were they were, very much adults as well. But I don't know. What do I know? But they're making a big deal out of this. You know what really annoyed me though? Like Steve Bannon is in those photos with Epstein. And so is Clinton and Prince Andrew and all the other people you thought you would see in those photos. But Steve Bannon is supposed to be like this big far right MAGA guy who's like, we need to expose Epstein for being the monster he is. Why were you hanging out with them then? You know what I'm saying? Is everything a lie? I think everything's a lie. And I've been saying it forever. I think they're all actors. Anyone on that stage, the world stage is there on purpose. Actors, different levels of actors, different tiers, but they're all actors. And if you trust any of them, you're getting fooled. It's easier to fool a man than it is to convince him that he's been fooled, and maybe we've been fooled, and we might have to just swallow that pill. We're gonna wrap that up in a little bit too. I'm gonna tie that into something very interesting soon. Let's close on Trump section. Move on. Trump did a rally nearby me in Pennsylvania. He flew over my house. I heard the plane. And I don't know if you've seen this. It was at a casino. It was at Mount Airy Casino. Small invite only rally he did, which is kind of funny that he's like the president, but still doing rallies. Not even for a reason. He just loves it. And the reason I think he loves it is the guy's just a comedian. Like he's Ed Hart, a comedian, and he kills. Like he's a great comedian. And he wants to tour. Like he always wants to be on the road because he loves it, the pageantry. He loves it. And he does go up there and he barely looks at the teleprompter and just rants for 2 hours in a comedic fashion. But this particular one at Mount Airy Casino, he was killing it. Like the jokes were, it was 90% jokes, 10% speech. But he was hitting every nail on the head with jokes. Like he had jokes for everyone. And he is kind of comedically funny. You have to give him that. That's what I said. It's scary because he's aggressive, but also funny. You don't know how to take that. I said that last episode. You're like, oh no, we're going to war. We're going on a land war in Venezuela. He'll say that. He's like, we're going to invade the land. And then he'll be like, I lowered the price of eggs. Eggs. And he'll say eggs funny. And you go, huh, he is kind of funny. And then right before that, he's like, we're going to invade Venezuela and take over the country. And he's like, but eggs are so cheap. And everyone's like, yeah, they are. And they clap. It's crazy because you don't know what to do with that information. You're like, oh, land war, eggs, like funny. It's crazy. But that speech, if you look it up, it's kind of funny. Got to give it to him. I'm in the Christmas season. I'm trying to have a good time. Not trying to. We'll worry about the land war in Venezuela after the new year. Erica Kirk. Wow, do we have to talk about this? She told Candace Owens to stop blatantly, like very clearly, publicly to stop. They're like, well, what do you think of Candace Owens? She goes, I wish she would stop. And Candace, being the grifter she is like, no, I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe she's being forced to say that. And pathetic. Now, let me just be very clear. I want to be clear with my audience. When I shit on Candace Owens a little, as a grifter and a leech and a fraud, it's because she is. she appeals to the MAGA moms and the true crime women on TikTok, and it's exciting because everybody loves mystery. Everybody loves solving a mystery, and she's posing as the only one that can do this. I'm the only one questioning the narrative, and that's the oldest trick in the book. Everyone, that was early conspiracy thinking. That was Alex Jones questioning the narrative about 9/11 and other things in Bohemian Grove. And what his downfall was, he got so good at questioning the narrative and spinning it to seem credible, even when it wasn't credible, that I think he got lost in his own delusions and ultimately thought a school shooting was a conspiracy theory and ended up that becoming the downfall of his entire brand. When you start thinking everything is a conspiracy, you lose your mind. And Candace is right there. So Candace Owens, you'll never listen to this show, I guarantee it. But if you do, don't go the way of Alex Jones because you're getting close. You're getting real close. Now, is everyone sort of a grifter in a way on the world stage? Yeah, except for a few people. But I think her grift is going stale, and I think the people that still follow her and support her are more so worshiping her rather than the ideas that she is proposing. And that's a dangerous thing. You don't want to worship people. You don't want to worship anyone except, God. But you don't want to fall in love with the person. Fall in love with the ideas. That's what I say. Like separate the art from the artist. You may love a painting, but you don't have to love the artist, because you don't want to meet your heroes because they're usually flawed and they're not what you expect. Just love the painting for what it means to you. Love the ideas somebody says for what they mean to you. Don't fall in love with the person. People are flawed and selfish and arrogant, and they will disappoint you. They will let you down. Just remember that. But ideas transcend, and they're able to be built upon, and you could form your own and use a little of that and a little of there, and that's what I do. Not to put myself on a pedestal, but I take ideas and theory and ideologies from all over the map, from many different perspectives, many different cultures, many different fields of thought. And that's why mine is truly unique. And your worldview is truly unique because it's compiled of multiple areas of exposure. But when you're like, I just trust Candace Owens, whatever she says, and that's it, then you're a sheep. And she is a malicious shepherd. Keep that in mind. Now, let's look at the other side. Like I said, Candace Owens, it's kind of like the people that watch The Bachelor and think it's real. Like that's kind of the people that are really loving Candace right now. But with that being said, Erica Kirk, I'm not saying that I fully believe her even a little. I don't think she's honest either. I think the whole thing is fishy and smells. Something's up terribly. It's just I don't believe Candace Owens has the answers. I believe Candace Owens comes up with theories and tells you she has definitive evidence, but doesn't just to keep you tuning in next week. That's the grift there. Some of the points she brings up are totally true. There's so many inconsistencies with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I'll give you that right now. Erica Kirk seems 100% disingenuous all the time. The newest one, the interview, when her face changed like 800 times. She showed so much anger. I don't know. It seemed so weird to me. That didn't look good. She looked like Kenneth Copeland or Copeland. You remember that guy? That reverend or whatever, that preacher that was, I don't want to fly in a tube of demons. Remember that guy? She looked like that. She's saying that Charlie said shalom and she's wearing the little Israel pin. It's all weird. It's weird. She has a book deal. Stop in the name of God. How'd you write that book so quick? I don't know. She's going around all over the country trying to sell a book. I don't love that either. Moral of my point here is just because you don't support one thing doesn't mean you automatically support the opposition to that. So it's like, well, you don't believe Candace, so you side with Turning Point and Erica Kirk. No. People come to me all the time when I criticize Trump. They're like, oh, you're criticizing Trump. What are you, a liberal? I'm like, no, I never said that either. Stop with the whataboutism. Stop with the absolutes. You have to be critical even of people you support and ideas you support all the time. It keeps you sharp. You just blindly put your faith in some pundit. You're going nowhere fast. But Is there something terribly wrong? Yeah, there's something going on with this situation. I'm telling you right now. Um, Candace backing out of the Turning Point USA live stream coming up this week. I lost so much respect for her. It proved that she's, just a grifter, sadly. But unfortunately, there is a voice that is going to address everything. And you may not like this. A lot of you aren't going to like this. I don't like this per se. But I said this months ago. And the only guy really going at all this right now is Nick Fuentes. If you don't know who that is, you will soon. I brought him up a very long time ago. This guy was the furthest right you can imagine. He was radical. He had abysmal beliefs that he said. Some claim he was joking. Some say he's serious. Anyways, this guy was fringe, far right. And now, because of how crazy things are, he's actually rising in popularity. I saw him go on PBD podcast months ago. I knew that was going to be something. Now he's doing the whole podcast circle. It's crazy. And now he goes on Piers Morgan. You had to hear about this. And he kind of won against Piers Morgan. And this is what I have to say. Of course he's radical. And of course he might even be dangerous, some might say. But why is he rising in popularity? I'm going to tell you right now why. Because he took a page out of Trump's book. And Trump laid the foundation of this theory or this strategy, let's say. It's say the most crazy, outlandish things, and you will get noticed for good or for bad, for better or for worse. The media will cover it. They'll try to smear you. And those smear pieces will bring more and more people to your side. That's what Trump did. That's what Trump did this first 2015, 2016. But the stuff that Nick Fuentes is saying is 800 times more radical than the things Trump said. So it's getting even more attention. And we live in the age of TikTok and all this stuff. So it's much crazier and the messages get out there much quicker. Now, this guy is calling out Candace, calling out Turning Point, calling out everyone, making a fool out of Piers Morgan and separating that old guard of like the boomers and the next generation of politics. And this next generation doesn't have time for like formalities. They just want it blunt. That's why the youth and the young men like Trump, because he was blunt. Nick Fuentes is 100 times more blunt. You guys think Trump's dangerous. You guys think Trump is radical. Wait till you start listening to Nick. You'll be shocked. And if you don't know this is coming, this is like old people that don't know what AI is. If you're out there right now and you go, I don't know who Nick Fuentes is, you better get to know who he is because you're going to know who he is soon. And for better or for worse, I'm just a messenger. I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm saying you're going to hear about this guy soon because all these other fake ones are about to get exposed. Unless you are the most radical, the most blunt, the most controversial, you will fall. And it's just a game. It's a pissing match of who could be the most controversial. You got Tucker being like, I don't work for Fox News and I'll interview anyone. He interviewed Nick Fuentes. Fun fact, recently. You got Candace saying, I'm the only one that knows what happened to Charlie Kirk. It's all these people fighting to be the most controversial, the most clickbait. This guy, Nick Fuentes, isn't even trying. Whatever he says naturally is controversial, and he's rising to the top. Quick, you determine if that's a good or a bad thing and get back to me. But that's what happens when you radicalize the population and make everything a spectacle. You condition the people to only live for spectacle and not live for rational, middle, meaningful conversation. And here we are at the radical ends of the spectrum. Now, I did predict this, that this was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen this fast, though. But I think people need to stop worshiping other people, especially these talking heads. You need to focus on ideas, like I said. Some things we're going to agree on, some things we're going to disagree on, but don't worship these talking heads. I want you to form your own unique compilation of ideas that are based on critical thinking and come from all different walks of life, let's say. And that's yours. It's not like you hold the beliefs of this person. You have your own beliefs, some of them based on that person, some of them not. You should disagree with people. Say you're the biggest Trump fan ever. You should disagree on some things. Because if you don't, it becomes cult of personality and it becomes dangerous. I'm just being honest. But even me, you listen to me, you might agree with some of the things I say, half the things I say, 10% of the things I say. Still watch. You don't have to believe everything I believe. And I think this is, self explanatory, but I think people have forgotten that, especially on the left. If you don't agree with every talking point of the left, they kind of shun you. So, like, if you're a liberal, you're like, well, I like all that, but I'm not really big on trans people being in sports. I don't know if men should be in women's sports. They'll be like, get out of here, you MAGA fanatic. It's like, but I believe in everything else. It's like, not enough. They shun you. And then you're in the shadow realm and you're at home talking to your dead grandmother on the AI app. And then when you take a break from that, you're watching Nick Fuentes reels on TikTok getting radicalized. That's how it happens, folks. That's how it happens. So keep that in mind. Christmas, keeping the vibes good. Not going to let it ruin my Christmas, but we'll talk about the gloom and doom after January. I have a comedy show coming up January 10th at the Manor on Main in Dixon City, Pennsylvania. Should be fun. Not thinking about it yet, but starting to think about it. Starting to think about it. This show is brought to you in part by Jack's Pub and Eatery, 3 Saints Barbershop, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Tusk, Scranton, and Picardo Jewelers. Only a few more episodes until Christmas. I hope you're as excited as I am. I am very excited. Going to do some fun holiday things today. Probably get this posted Sunday night or Monday morning. And that's a wrap. Stay curious, my friends. Good night.